Hey guys, it's me, General Sam, back at it again with this is a exclusive podcast. This one's just for your eyes only. And exciting stuff happened this week. I went to go see 1917. Kobe Bryant died, further solidifying my fear of helicopters. It's a vehicle held up in the air by spinning blades. That's insane to me. It's a propeller airplane with no wings dangling by the propeller. The only reason those aren't fucking insane is because you grew up with them. You know what I mean? Like Abby was asking me, like, why is this whole like Wu-Tang Clan disease in China? Why is that thing so incredibly scary and getting headlines right now? If it's not, I think it's like around the same dangerous level as like the flu, right? And I was like, you know why? Because we live with the flu every year. The flu comes back and takes its toll every year, and it's always done that. So we're used to it. More people have died from the flu than like anything else. Probably malaria has taken more, right? But the flu is every year it comes by and kills a shitload of people, and so we're used to it. But the Wuhan, whatever, the coronavirus, that's what it's called, coronavirus, that thing, it's new. We've never had anything like it. And so people are freaking out about it, you know? But, if you didn't live your whole life with helicopters, and you just saw one all of a sudden, think of yourself like a Vietnamese rice farmer, and you're chilling there. The only thing you know in life is rice, huts, communism, wooden shoes with the little vertical pieces on them so you don't get your toes wet in the rice paddy. And then all of a sudden you see this hunk of metal being held up by a whirling death blade above it. Yeah, that'd be fucking terrible. And they always play like, what is that? Fly to the Valkyries. Nah, 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 nah. Yeah, I would be fucking scared too. I'm surprised Kobe had the balls to get on one of those things. I've been scared of those since that show ER, where the guy gets his fucking arm lopped off by one, and then like 5 years later, another helicopter falls down the front of the hospital and crushes him to death, which is coincidentally the same guy, that actor. It's the same guy that gets dipped in that like radioactive vat of garbage in RoboCop, and then the car hits him and he gets like split in half, and he's like his gooey organs go all over the fucking. But this is the worst start to a podcast I've ever seen. Good thing we got an editor. Yo, Stahl, put some music in here, liven this shit up, because this one's just I'm just hanging with the bros on this one. This one's not professional so far. Not a good start. All right, anyways, so I was sitting there hanging out with I saw I had a long weekend of hanging out with Abby, right? And so I had options. I said either suicide or I could find a way to get the fuck out of this. So I looked up that movie. Everybody's been talking about 1917, right? And I was like, oh, that looks like a fucking treat. I'm gonna go see that. And the theater, dude, we have this new theater in town with like those lounge back seats and everything. Because before, the other one is just in the middle of a construction zone. I don't jive with that one, but. So 1917, heard all these great things. Then I watched Critical's Moist Meter on it, which the more I hear from this Critical fellow, the less I care for him, because he has got all the opposite opinions of things that I have. He's like, I'm tired of seeing war movies. It's just played out. They're played out. I'm fucking done with them. It's the same old story. I'm like, dude, that's all humans. Like, if you look at, are you tired of listening to music? Every song ever is about fucking somebody or trying to fuck somebody. They're all love songs. Every single song in the history of everything is either about conflict or something to do with procreation on some level. Be it emotional attraction, physical attraction, 90% of it's that. All right? And then when it comes to like movies, yeah, it's either going to be love stories or some sort of conflict. And I'm sorry, but the world wars we had last century, possibly the greatest grand scale. It's a world war. All the developed countries start slugging it out. It was the equivalent on the world scale of like what Infinity War was for movies. You know, you had all these small skirmishes here and there, and then all these little alliances, and then it just came to this. And like, I'm sure at the time, in 1916 or whenever that fucking war broke out, they looked at each other and all the countries went, "Man, this is the most ambitious crossover in history." This is the most ambitious war of all time. Every country duking it out. Which, by the way, the battlefield was in France. That was really, unlike the Olympics, I would have not have sought that my country to be the hometown for that one. Jesus Christ, that place got ripped to hell and back. So, anyways, I'm watching the movie, right? And everybody talks about how great it is for being like one continuous take and everything, which that is very nice. But people are like pointing out like, oh, that you can see where it's cut. It's like, that's not the point. Actually, what's impressive to me is how few cuts there are. There are so many instances where you just know it's like a long scene. It was, I mean, because they're not going to sit there and do all these like weird VFX transitions all over the place just because they can. I think there was a lot of scenes that were just like 6 minutes long of just continuous everything. I mean, it was pretty incredible. The acting was it was all right. I mean, there wasn't really much to act. They were just dudes acting like dudes. I think what it was is that movie was a testament to the senselessness of World War I. That's what it was. And so if you know nothing about World War I, go see that fucking movie. Every single like situation they get in, there's something that just drives home the point of this is a fucking waste of time. Not the movie, the viewing. You just feel hopeless watching it, and then the guy completes his entire task, and like you get this big empty feeling of like, God damn, that was just one little tiny rotation of a cog in a giant war machine. That was depressing. That was a big, you know how like in Saving Private Ryan at the end, you're like, mission accomplished. We feel good. We got him, boys. Let's go home. And in this movie, it's not like that. You get this feeling of like, God damn, that was a lot of dead people for no real payoff besides less people dying? ? I'm sure they'll die again in a week. All the people that ends up getting saved, I feel like they're probably dead anyways in a very short time. You know, it was definitely just a emphasis of the shit show of World War I. But there were some cool shots, dude. And you know, you kind of, everybody asks like, how did they film it? It's obviously a giant crane thing set to a track. They had like a railroad track following where the character was going to go, and then they have this thing, not unlike this. It's a giant boom. And then it has the camera on it. They have two types of these, by the way. They have like this giant motorized boom where the cameraman can physically sit on it with the camera and he directs it with like joysticks or whatever, right? And then they have the smaller scale one, which is just the camera and it's motorized. And there's a person sitting at the base of it. And they sit there and look at a live view and they control it, or you can even have ones that are controlled by like a program. You know, if you really want those concise shots. Great movie, though. But I saw a lot of people asking, like, how did they do it? Like, it's just a fucking crane arm that just looms down and goes through stuff. But, dude, there's some scenes in that movie. I don't know how, like, spoiler-ish you guys want to get into this. But there's a scene where it's nighttime and he's going through this little town where he's supposed to go near it into the woods to like the southwest of it, southeast of it or whatever. And he's in the town and there's still like some Germans in that town. And there's like this burning church and that's like the light used, the practical lighting used to like light the entire scene. Dude, what a beaut. That whole scene is so beautiful. What a film. It's a good one. I would definitely go back and watch it again. And that's the thing, is this movie, you have to see it in theaters. But while I'm sitting there, I told myself I wasn't going to get anything bad to eat in the theater because, I was trying to lose a little bit of weight. And so, of course, I get a shitload of food and icy and everything. I see it. This movie theater, like every other movie theater I've ever been to, they're like, hey, we got M&Ms and popcorn. This movie theater will make you a burger, wings. They got funnel cakes, all the candies, ices. They have everything. And I'm like, what the? So, of course, I order everything. And I'm sitting down eating like a fucking king, watching all these people starving to death in World War I. And it made me feel really great about myself. But anyways, while I'm sitting down munching away, here comes the teasers for the movies that are up and coming. And first of all, there's a couple on there that I want to talk about. Christopher Nolan's got a new movie coming out called Tenet, which is just him basically going even further into the headspace that that motherfucker loves messing with time. Probably thinks he's fucking Tesla or something like that. But he's got some movie called Tenet. It's basically like the vibe I get from it is like Inception, but instead of dreams and stuff, it's just like time. Like there's a scene where they go into a room, and I think Robert Pattinson is one of the guys, and there's like some black guy that's the main dude. And there's bullet holes all in the room, and this is like the final teaser of the trailer. And they walk in, and Robert Pattinson goes, "Wow, what do you think happened here?" And the black guy looks at him and goes, "Nothing. It hasn't happened yet." And then the door opens, and this guy comes in, reverse shooting. and the guy starts getting into a fight with him. And I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? Like, I don't know. So that was that. And I'm like, it's made by Christopher Nolan. It should be pretty good unless it gets a little bit kind of preachy, a little bit like Interstellar. Dude, I'm not going to lie, though. Interstellar can get a bad rap all at once. Movie kind of had me in tears in a couple places, man. When he's watching his daughter grow up and lose faith in him on those little videotapes. And at the end, where his daughter's like 85 and he's meeting her, and he's like, "Hey, sorry, bitch." "Howdy, bitch. It's your dad again." That I don't know. That whole thing, man. That movie got me, bro. And that was before I was even a dad. So you can't even say like, oh, it's a father thing. No, that got me before I was even a dad. There was another movie coming out. Hold on. The Invisible Man, which is it was one of those trailers where this was a great idea for a movie, by the way, because this isn't like the classic Invisible Man, and this isn't like Hollow Man. Yeah, okay. You remember that scene from Hollow Man where he ends up doing the thing, becomes invisible, and then there's a short segment of it before they get back to the research facility or whatever, when he's kind of like out in the city and he starts like doing rapey things. That is the entire premise of The Invisible Man that's coming out. Like, he fakes his death, becomes invisible in order to just ruin his ex-wife's or ex-girlfriend's life, right? And like torment her. And but here's the problem, is the trailer showed the entire story arc. There, like, for Tenet, Christopher Nolan's Tenet, I was like, oh, this raises questions. Oh, intrigue? Question mark? Maybe see? Like, what could this be about? The Invisible Man, I've seen the movie condensed into 5 seconds. That was like a 5-minute. It was like a legit long-ass trailer, and I know everything that's going to happen. He fakes his death. He becomes invisible, torments girlfriend. She kills him. Her killing him is in the trailer, I think. There was way too much in the fucking trailer. But I digress. Point is that those are the upcoming movies. I'm probably going to go see the Christopher Nolan movie because I've only seen one of his movies in theaters. And I think it was Inception. And No, wait, I saw some of the Batman ones, I believe. But they're always worth a watch because he's a good filmmaker guy. But for now, I think I'm gonna go down to Burger King and pick up an Impossible Whopper, and I'll be right back. All right, so I just got back from Burger King, which, by the way, the closest one is across fucking town, so these are probably cold by now. And I got myself not only a regular Whopper, but an Impossible Whopper, because I had to figure out which one, like, what does it actually taste like? Gwen, I swear to God, if you come in here, be gone. Fucking dog came over here and started, like, she smelled food, started coming in here. Dude, she sounds like a black lady typing on a keyboard. She's got, like, the longest fingernails with those big basset hound paws, and so everywhere she walks, it's just click, 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 click. So I was like, all right, you know what? Stay out of here. Okay. Wait, did they already cut these for you? I brought a cutting board and everything in here. I'm going to set it up. One side's going to be the... Right? No, that's not. All right. I'm going to do I'm going to bisect these. That's the regular Whopper. I'll put this fucking garbage can over here. You know what? I was told in the beginning of this, like the do's and don'ts of podcasting. One of the biggest don'ts is actually eating food. So I'm having an entire segment where I eat food. Hey, you know what? What are you going to do? By the way, this thing right here, this Impossible Whopper, it's like a plant-based Whopper everybody's talking about. It smells different. Considerably different. Like I say, it smells better or worse because, it's Burger King. They both smell like feet. But it definitely smells different. I'll give you that. Put that over there, the fucking godforsaken Whopper. Okay. So, I'll put the leftovers over here. Okay, so first things first. I'm going to put them side by side and just show you up close. The one on your right is the regular Whopper, and the one on your left is the Impossible Whopper. As you can see, the meat is a little bit more porous on the Impossible Whopper. I don't know. I don't know how scientific I'm supposed to get with this. But I sent this idea to Aqua because he does like food reviews. I figured he'd be better to be doing this shit, and he never did it because he's stupid. So he made a video where he goes to McDonald's and just eats food. Whatever. This is a regular Whopper, by the way. So I can get a normal taste of what a Whopper is. Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't eat at Burger King. I think this might be the first time I've ever had a Whopper. And it is such an iconic staple of American cuisine. And I don't know why. Because this shit is not as good as Whataburger by a long shot. It's all right. It's all right. All right. Now for the Impossible Whopper, which some of my accoutrements fell out. Let me shove those back in there. Basically the same. If I didn't have this one here and just ate these on a regular basis, and then one day, the next day, I just go and pick up this one, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I can tell a slight difference because I'm eating this one and then immediately eating this one. But they taste about the same. So if you're really into Whoppers, then this might be for you. But this does cost $1 extra, and you really don't get the carnal satisfaction of knowing that living creatures died for you to eat it. You know, that's part of being human. You can't have any sort of satisfaction without something getting trampled under your foot, you know? You know, I said they weren't that great, but now that I'm eating, I realize how fucking hungry I am. But, dude, back to Aqua. So, I'm sitting there, I asked him to do this shit, right? And he goes like, nah. And now it's too late for it to be good. That's why it's on the fucking podcast. And He's waited too long, right? And so then I always see these things. You see them on Twitter. It's like crazy food. There's like gold-plated sundaes and stuff like that cost a lot of money. But there's always like weird stuff. It's always in New York City. New York City is like the culinary hub of the world. Everybody acts like France is, like Paris, but it's not. It's really New York City. Whenever there's weird shit happening with food, it's always New York City. So I was like, dude, you know what you need to do? I saw this clip of this burger. It got a viral retweet. It's a burger where it has like a brioche bun, right? Which is like one of those domed, perfect Krabby Patty buns. And the guy like hollows it out and fills it full of like white cheese so that when you go to bite into it and squeeze it, like white cheese pops out everywhere. And it kind of looks like one of those abscess videos where they cut the abscess and squeeze all the pus out of it. And it's kind of fucking gross looking. But it's in New York City. That shit's made in New York City. And the retweet it got was, it was a black guy saying, yo, the moment a burger nuts in my mouth, I'm shooting up the block. And, which is true. I wouldn't want to fucking think popping its big, juicy cheese nut in my mouth. But I was like, Aqua, you need to get that thing. Even if it costs like $80, go buy that burger and make a video on it. It's like viral right now. That shit's funny. Like, and all that's been around is like that Twitter clip. But nobody has like an actual extended thing of what that thing's like. And he was like, but I'm the ruble lord of Tarkov. You motherfucker. That guy. He drives me up the fucking wall. I drop off these beautiful ideas on him. And he's too busy fucking being a scumbag. Nah, he's a good guy. Now that I paused so I could eat the rest of these fucking burgers. Now that I've munched down on this for quite some time, you always see the people's reviews of it. Which, by the way, every time there's like the Popeyes chicken sandwich, the Burger King Impossible Burger, they've started featuring like actual YouTubers in their commercials, like reviewers, food reviewers. And it's always like that big fat black guy, and he's like, oh man, this is something different, man. And he's like, oh, look at you being all special. He's talking to his chicken sandwich, right? And that's great and everything, but not a single one of them has a clip from Report of the Week. Our boy is getting slandered. Why won't they have him on there? That would be hilarious. Just like all these over the top, emotive people that are just like, oh, chicken sandwich, you looking a little bit different. And then it's just him in his fucking baggy 1985 Wolf of Wall Street suit. And he just goes, this is actually exemplary. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, so yeah, I've been munching on this a little bit more. And in all those commercials, you always see like, they're like, man, this has more flavor and it's smokier. It has more flavor. You know what that tastes like to me? It tastes like they've developed cologne or something. It's like a concentrate of just of grill flavor. This is the flavor of a grill. And then they just put like 2 drops on the patty and put it in your burger. It's like an artificial meat grilled taste. You know what I mean? And it's not sitting well in my fucking mouth. But it ain't bad. It ain't half bad. I guess. You know, what's kind of funny about that going to Burger King was I've never been in there before, right? And I just walked up to the counter, the only white person in there. And which it looked like I like interrupted a secret meeting or something, because the second I walked in, everybody just looked at me. I was like, I'm here for a burger. They all like looked at and it fell quiet. I was like, I'm sorry, were you planning on killing Whitey? I mean, like, sorry to interrupt. That's all right. I need to get me a burger. So I go up to the counter and I'm like, hey, Yeah, I'd like a Whopper and an Impossible Whopper. And the guy just like stops and like rolls his eyes. He goes, "Cuz I'm going to go against company policy here, but you're supposed to order a 2 for $6. You get the Whopper and then you get the Impossible Whopper. They're both on 2 for $6." I said, "Okay, I'll have that." He's like, "Cuz if you don't, then I would have charged you for the regular entree price for both of these." I said, "Okay, sorry, dude. I'll get it next time." He's like, "It's not a sorry thing. I'm trying to help you out." I'm like, "All right, dude. Thank you. I appreciate it." He's like, "Okay." And then he makes my food, and when he gives it to me, he goes, "Remember what I said." I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. All right. I felt like saying, dude, I ain't never coming back here, by the way. I don't care how fucking good this shit is. That vibe you guys gave off when I walked in the door, it could be the best fucking burger of all time. I ain't ever coming back. All right, on to the next thing. So you can determine whether or not that was too spicy. I don't know. Stalt's editing these, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. I'll do a big proclamation about Stalt for the next episode, because that one will be like public to the masses. I'm thinking about getting probably like Laura Bush, maybe Michelle Obama on as the next guest for the next episode. So Stalt, keep your eyes open for that. Probably gonna fly them out. They'll be sitting across from me at the table. What was I gonna talk about? Oh yeah, I you know me, I'm a man of science, right? Pretty smart guy. I went to MIT for a number of semesters, and I was keeping up on academic studies, as I do. And no, not really. I was sitting there looking at porn, and I have this stupid Amazon Echo thing, and it like flashes like news stories at me. They're not news stories, really. All this shit's curated by Jeff Bezos himself, and it's always like stories that don't really impact you in any way, but they're there. And this one was like, is your dog really guilty? And I was like, guilty of what? Does my Echo know of like a murder or something that happened that my dog did? Is your dog really guilty? So I was like, yo, Echo, tell me about that dog guilty story. And it was talking about, like, you know, when your dog tears something up and then looks guilty. Well, apparently there's been this giant study about whether or not in the dog's psyche they know of guilt. And what it boiled down to was they don't. They have no idea. And so people are like, well, what it is you get mad at your dog for chewing up something. And they say, oh, this chewed up spoon has made them angry. So whenever I see that, I'm going to know that they're going to get mad at the presence of this spoon. And then people go, well, what about like when I get home and my dog's greeting is off? Because that happens to me all the time. My dog's such a pain in the ass. She'll like find something in the house that has like a little bit of food on it from my daughter, because babies do not eat cleanly at all. Like they just, food's everywhere, right? So she'll find like some like plastic spoon or something from Abby rushing in the morning, and it'll have like oatmeal on it. And instead of just like eating the oatmeal off of the plastic spoon, she will just eat the spoon. The entire spoon will be gone, except for like the rubber handle of it. It's a plastic spoon, you know, so Madeline doesn't scoop her fucking eye out when she misses her mouth. And then it'll have like a rubber handle. And like she ate the entire fucking spoon. And so on the couch was just like this rubber handle that used to go to a spoon. And I walked in and I didn't even see the spoon. I didn't even know it existed. I just walked in. I was like, hey, what's up, Gwen? How you doing? And she was just like cowering on the ground like I'm about to do a people's elbow over the top of the fucking sofa and crack her head on the ground. She's like cowering. And she always does this dipshit smile where like the corners of her fucking lips, she'll just sit there and go, when she's upset, you know, it's trying to appease me like, hey, I'm smiling at you, buddy. And she like doesn't quite look at me, but just kind of like gets her head down low and smiles. And I'm like, and then, of course, I know something's up. I'm like, what did you do? What the fuck did you do? It's not like I saw the thing and was like, oh my God, Gwen, what have you done? And then she starts doing that. I walk in the door and she's like, oh shit, the jig's up. I done fucked up. And she starts doing it. And so I'm like, surely that means she knows guilt, right? Well, according to the study, nope. No, that does not mean she knows guilt. What that means is apparently what it is she doesn't, dogs are so fucking dumb. They can't wrap their noggin around the fact that they did something that pisses humans off. So what she does, this is what this fucking article says. I don't believe it, honestly, because I sit there, like, the article is basically saying the dog finds the spoon with oatmeal on it, chews it up, and is like, fine, I'm getting oatmeal and spoon. Delicious. And then the second they're done chewing, they look down and see the spoon and goes, oh shit, that's the thing that my boss doesn't like. My master does not like that. Oh, fuck. And then they just get like panicked. They don't go like, hey, I shouldn't have done that. They just get like, he ain't going to like that. I'll just be all like coy and throw my lips up when he walks in the door. And by the way, she just cowers because I say bad dog. All right. She doesn't cower. You guys, everybody says like, if she's cowering, is it because you kick her viciously? Yeah, that's what I do. I fucking walk in and start curb stomping my own dog because I love vet bills. No, I feed her. Right. I pet her. I fucking do all that shit. But when she chews up spoons and stuff, I'm like, hey, that's a bad dog. And she goes like, she curls up on the corner. She turns into like a fur puddle. Like she tries to get as low to the ground as possible and like tries to disappear. Like if I had like wood floors with like cracks in between it, I feel like she would try to like melt down between the cracks like ice cream. She just gets really low and just turns into like a fur puddle. But yeah, I don't buy that article. I really don't. I feel like she chews shit up and she's perfectly fine with it. She's not fretting when I'm not there. But the second I walk in the door, she's like, oh, I forgot I fucked up, you know? Like I turn into her when I've been like whacking off or something, right? And I accidentally leave out my whacking off accessories. You know what I'm talking about? Like the full array of tools are out, and then I hear Abby open up the door, and I'm like, oh fuck, did I put all that shit away? Did I put away my 18-inch double-ended Chance unflared dildo? Fuck. You know how like your heart drops, and then all of a sudden I'm on the floor, with my lips curled up, looking at her. You know what I need to do, Stult? I need to get a segment, because this is about to be a really bad transition into like you guys asking me questions, right? So we need to come up with an idea for like, I need to edit up and shoot all this different stuff for like the advice segment. Wouldn't that be funny? With like a little jingle in there. I would hand do my own jingle. It wouldn't even be a good song. It would just be me playing on the recorder with a little jingle. But yeah, you guys wrote in some questions from on the Twitter at Forehead Fables. I think that's it. It might be at Forehead Fables Podcast. I don't know which one it is. Stalt, put it up in the middle of the screen. Is it at Forehead Fables or at Forehead Fables Podcast? Anyways, I asked you guys to write in some stuff, and for the most part, I've gotten really nonsensical garbage. And last time, I set the bar a little bit higher because a lot of you were writing in with stuff like, how do I breathe and walk at the same time? And so I've set the bar a little bit higher. And so like actual real world problems. And I got the first one from Kiara here. Kiara. I don't know how to say your name, but she wrote in and said, I'm a closeted trans woman. And I don't know. What's the deal with all like the trans people in my Discord that follow me on Twitter and stuff? I feel like if I could, I don't know if this makes me like transphobic or what, because I feel like if you say anything, you're automatically transphobic. But I feel like there's, because trans people started out as dudes, if that makes sense. No, that's automatically transphobic right there, right? Saying started out as dudes. Anyways, I feel like they kind of, because they're on the fringe of sexuality, if you could say, I feel like a lot of their senses of humor are also on the fringe of what's acceptable socially, or the exact opposite. They're either they're either laying in the cut right there with the bad boys, or they're everything offends them. There's no middle ground, I feel like. There's no just like normal everyday trans person, I feel. But anyway, so I got this Kira here says, I'm a closeted trans woman and I don't know how to break the news to my parents and the rest of my family. They have always been keen to reinforce manly. What are you, like 1950s? Who the fuck says keen anymore? They've always been keen to reinforce manly behavior in my life, and I love that I was born male so I can carry on. Oh, and they love that I was born male so I can carry on the family name, etc. What do you think I should do? Let me preface this by saying I had a hard enough time telling my mom I say poop jokes on the internet for a living. Like, your parents want you to be better than them. I think everybody wants their kids to be better than they are, to succeed in things that they aren't capable of succeeding in, to be in a higher station in life than they are. And I think part of a kid's job is to take their parents' idealized progeny, you know, like what they envision their kids should be and could be. Take that little and like that little superficial mold they've made and fucking smash it on the ground like a vase, like a Fabergé egg. Break that shit up and make your parents cry, because that's what I've done. Just look at your parents, be like, no, I don't want to be a fucking doctor or anything like that. I'm not smart enough for that. I'm not compassionate enough for that. I don't have enough empathy for that. But Mimi poop joke, Mimi poop joke, real good. Yeah, it's just your parents have a vision for you, and you're gonna disappoint them. That's part of growing up. And the cool thing is when you disappoint them initially, and then you circle it back around, and you make it. I guess you impress them in a different way. So, for example, with me, they're like, "Oh, Sam poo poo joke guy, what a fucking loser!" And then all of a sudden, I have like wife and kid, and I have my house and everything. And so I've taken this poo poo joke lifestyle and I've turned it into like, supporting a family. You know, so what you need to do is do the equivalent of that, but with being a trans woman. You need to fully transition into a woman, and you need to be even hotter than your mom. That's the equivalent. Show up to her one day and with a pair of heels on, that ass out, you know, be looking hot as fuck, and just be like, "Hey, Mom, I'm a sexy little fuck piece." No, I'm kidding. No, just, I don't know. Just, I don't know what to tell you. My life has never been that hard. I've never had to tell my parents anything like that. You know, I sit there teetering on the edge of telling them to fuck off. That's about it. I don't, it also depends how hard it is for you to tell them with how close you are to them. But, I think when you go to do it, it's going to make things worse before it makes things better. You know what I mean? Like, I feel you might have a falling out, and then it's going to be the ball's in their court, whether or not they accept it. But that's a hard one, dude. Good luck with that one, Chuck. Chuckette. Kira. I don't know. On to the next one. Riley. Riley writes in and says, "Hey, Sam, I don't mind that you saw my last message and didn't say anything." That's good. That was keeping me up at night, Riley. He says, it was against the rules anyway, so don't worry about that. Didn't hurt my feelings. I don't even know what his previous message was. He says, "I request your advice. My annual income doesn't meet over $6,000 because my school job pays minimum wage. So would you recommend rolling my earnings into an already established mutual fund currently at $3.5K? Or get this Roth IRA started early despite not meeting the maximum yearly allowance?" Okay, let me tell you something. Established mutual fund currently at $3.5K. a Roth IRA. I don't care what it is. I don't care either or. You don't have to max out a Roth IRA. I don't think there's any tax benefit to maxing out a Roth IRA. But the difference between a Roth IRA is that you can't pull your money out until the time, right? So I'm just and you don't get taxed on it later in life. You're getting taxed on both of these when you go to put them in. What I would say is whatever you do it. Let me tell you guys something. You're going to look back on life, and it doesn't matter if you start investing at 20. You're going to look back on life and say, God, I wish I had invested more. Whatever your income is, take 20% off the top and act like it doesn't even exist, and just put it into that's like one of the hardest things that people think is like, oh, dude, I just don't have the money for it. It's like, you do have the money for it, but you just need to, you can always live with less. You know what I mean? People that have money, they always say, I can't afford to blank. It's like, dude, I guarantee you're not living in a puddle. Unless you're living in a puddle, there's no way you're watching this podcast if you're living in a puddle. But if you're not living in a puddle, and you're watching this, you probably have some sort of expendable income you can put away. Because let me tell you something. I recently learned about, I saw this like infographic thing that was talking about the compounding interest, just how significant compounding interest actually helps you. And it was this person, it was one of those things where it's like, these two people start investing at blank time with blank amount of money, right? And what we're going to have one name as Jebediah. Jebediah started investing when he was 25, right? And then Marcy started investing when she was, I think, like 35 or something like that. But Jebediah only invests, it was something like $2,000 a month for 10 years. And then Marcy started 10 years later and did double the amount of money for like 15 years, for like, an extra 50% length of time. And the person that started earlier by 10 years still ended up with more money. Like there's a saying, time in the market beats timing the market. There's a lot of people that are like, hey, no, I'm not going to invest right now, because I'm going to wait until the market crashes and then start putting money into it. It's like, dude, put your money in every month, regardless of what the market's doing, for your entire working experience. It doesn't matter if you get a raise. Doesn't matter if you take a pay cut. Doesn't matter if you're working at McDonald's. Whatever. When you start working, always take a percentage and put it into a Roth IRA or something. Don't put it into a savings account. You don't get any interest with a savings account. That money is just stagnating right there. They even say like high yield accounts. They're not high yield. They're garbage. They're literal garbage. I have some money in my savings account and the rest is in a stock portfolio. And dude, every month put money in that stock portfolio. Or I do like Betterment, like the robo advisor thing. But do something like that. Do Robinhood, Betterment, do S&P 500. I don't know. Do one of those fucking things. Do a Roth IRA. I also have a Roth IRA, but do it early. Because the earlier it does it, the more it can sit there and snowball. And so when you're old, you'll be able to afford somebody to wipe your asshole. It's important stuff, dude. I ain't fucking around. You know why you haven't laughed in the past 15 minutes? Because this ain't a fucking joke, man. It ain't a joke. It's serious stuff. I'm telling you. Invest early. Do it, man. I invested back when I was working at a fucking place. It was before I had a YouTube channel. I worked at an apartment building doing maintenance. And it was a god-awful job. And I got paid nothing. And it's like, dude, I still took some of that and invested it. I didn't invest it in, that was before like robo advisors were a thing. But I invested it into a Roth IRA. And, it wasn't much. And definitely what I've invested recently has kind of taken over that minor investment. But still, I mean, it helps. Every little bit helps, because here's something, I've learned all my hard lessons in life from my family. People are like, dude, find yourself a role model. You know what's better than a role model? Someone that you can follow, and mimic their things. What's better than that is someone that has done horrible things in life, and you see their life fall apart, and you go, this is a great example of what not to do. Nobody in my family taught me anything financially. Everybody in my family, I don't care if you're fucking watching this, Dad. I don't care if you're watching this, Mom. Everybody in my family is dog shit with money. Don't even act like you're good with it. I don't fucking care, Dad. You know what? You may be Jewish. You are the worst Jew of all time. You are. You're like the only poor one I know of. It is incredible what you have not been able to accomplish with money. It is absolutely. I don't know what your like private books look like, but you certainly don't look like you're rolling in it. How about that? So, sorry, dude. Love you. So, I sat there. We lived in a beautiful time where there's the internet, So I sat there typing away, and I learn everything you can, man, because there's people in my life that I've seen people retire. They thought they were just going to work forever, I guess, and they retired, and then they just didn't have any income. They were like, oh, well, I hadn't really thought about retirement. Well, what the fuck? You think you're going to work until you're like 93? Like, what? You think the government's got to take care of you? It is hilarious, too, because I live in the South. These are incredibly right-wing people. And all of a sudden, they're like, wow, our country should really have some sort of social net. And I've never sat there. I've always thought that Social Security was the stupidest idea ever. And then I realized there's people out there that are so fucking dumb that they don't even think of a future where they're going to need money, Like, if times are good now, you're at a mountain peak. There's going to be a valley eventually, or else there wouldn't be a mountain peak. You know what I mean? Like, I always thought Social Security was fucking dumb, and then I realized there's so many idiots out there that have to rely on it because they're not capable of investing for themselves, And it's a sad thing. It really is. So, yeah, anyways, get out there and invest, people. Financial literacy is not a joke. It really isn't. I ain't fucking around. Go invest, or I'm going to have... Dude, you guys are one step away from making me threaten violence. It's about to happen. I'm telling you. Take care of yourself. One last little thing about that whole investing doodad is do not... There's plenty of subreddits out there for smart investing and stuff, but do not go to Wall Street Bets. Only go to r/Wall Street Bets if you're looking for comedy. Like, that thing is full of like these 20-year-old. You remember? Have you ever seen that movie, The Big Short? You remember those guys that are like 25 and they're all they're doing is they're securing mortgage loans for like underprivileged people because the acceptance rate on loans is so ridiculously high. They can get anybody to get a mortgage, right? Those guys, they're basically just mortgage sharks. And they have like 3-piece suits on, and they've made like $400,000 that year, right? They have this ridiculous net worth. And they're just fucking douchebags. They're like frat guy douchebags. Those guys are like the archetypal dudes that are on Wall Street Bets. The guys that are on Wall Street Bets are like those dudes mixed with computer nerds. It's like, it is the place. It's hilarious to go there because everybody's just screaming about Tesla stocks and everything and how to short things. But I don't feel like anybody actually makes any gains at all. And I feel like most people just have net losses. I'm telling you, unless you're really into studying it, I'm talking super into studying it, just go with a robo-advisor. In fact, the man himself, what's his name? The Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett, he said, just go with the S&P 500. It's a normal person that doesn't do what I do not me, like Sam, but me as in I'm speaking as Warren Buffett. A normal person that doesn't do what I do would be better off and would make bigger gains just sticking with the S&P 500 and investing. S&P 500, by the way, is like the 500 top most profitable businesses in their respective fields or whatever. And anytime a business drops from 500 to 501, I think it sells all your stock and it reinvests in the new business that pops up. And so it keeps you in the stock. It keeps you bought into the top 500 businesses. I think that's what it is. If anybody knows what the fuck's going on, because I'm not incredibly literate with this stuff. I'm just saying I'm not really knowledgeable. But and the fact that I acknowledge that is the reason why I go with robo-advisors. I don't sit there with my cock swinging down, acting like I know what the fuck I'm talking about and start investing in all these different companies because I really don't know what the hell's going to happen. I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen. So I would just go with a robo-advisor or like one of those mutual funds, S&P 500s or whatever. That's just my take on it. That's my take. And don't listen to Wall Street bets. Those guys are fucking stupid. They all think they're the Wolf of Wall Street, and they're not. They have like their hair slicked back and think they're cool and everything, but they're living in their mom's basement and they're wearing a fucking tracksuit. All right, they don't have any money. They just act like they have money. Okay, that's my final thought on that. Fuck. Okay, so now I'm at the difficult position in a post-Tarkov world, right? Where let's admit it, my channel's been bumping and bopping all of a sudden ever since Tarkov came out, right? Or Tarkov blew up. Now the real question is I don't want to get stuck doing that shit, okay? I got stuck on Skyrim, and I got stuck on, what was another game I got stuck doing? I forget. I think Fallout 4. And I was starting to get stuck on Rust. I don't want to get stuck on Tarkov. This is the biggest boom my channel has ever gotten in the history of my channel. Okay? I'm pulling numbers that like actual respectable YouTubers are pulling, right? Like Swagger Souls type shit from like months ago, maybe a year ago. So I'm booming all of a sudden. And but the thing is that only on Tarkov, I have a feeling. I haven't uploaded anything except Tarkov recently. So now the question is how do I keep from getting stuck in that fucking thing? I'm telling you, like over 60,000 new subs are just Tarkov people only, and that's what they're thirsting for. So I need to still feed these people, but I got to feed them something besides that fucking game. So now I'm racking my brain. What do I do? What do I do? So I'm sitting there thinking, oh, maybe I do another Kinchi thing because I have the second part of that cannibal thing to do. The Gushers video brought in a lot of people. I just don't know, man. I'm at a loss and I'm panicking because I was fine when I was the same steady growth rate of just garbage because it didn't matter what I put out as long as I put some effort into it, it did well. But now it's like people are expecting one thing, you know? And because I'm such a spiteful person, I feel like doing the exact opposite of that. Like, what's the opposite of Tarkov? I need to do like I need to do something like just a happy-go-lucky fun game. I need to find something that's just nothing but good vibes. I need to play what are those Lego games? Like Lego Batman? I need to make like a Lego Batman let's play or something. Something that nobody would fucking see coming. It's not even like no way has anything related to Tarkov. I want to get these new people and I want to punch them in the cock. At just a complete right hook, not even expecting it. I want to let them know that anything can happen around these parts. Anyways, next episode, I should probably have a guest on here. I'm thinking about having Shiro, maybe Aqua for a follow-up that actually works. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, thanks for watching this episode, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. It's been emotional. Have a good day. I know I've just done the sign off on this podcast, but I think it's imperative to come back and set the record straight and put down some extra info because it's important that this gets into the final cut. I stopped doing the podcast. I turned off everything. And then that impossible Whopper hit my asshole like a truck of concrete. And I really got a shit. It already hit. I haven't eaten anything in so long. I'm talking like yesterday at like 4 o'clock or something like that was the last time I ate. And now it's today at 3:50. There's no way that this like explosive diarrhea hit me like that. I'm telling you, dude. I feel it. I haven't shit it out yet. I'm holding it in. I'm afraid to get up. I ate that stupid burger, like 30 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago, and my stomach is roiling and boiling. What the fuck? All right, anyways, guys, have a nice day.